Good morning, church family. As we continue on our readings through the book of Luke, it amazes me how far we've come. Just the beginning of June, we were beginning with the birth of Jesus, and now here we are with Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem. And so, we're going to be reading in Luke chapter 19, starting in verse 28. It reads, "After Jesus had said this, he went on ahead, going up to Jerusalem. As he approached Bethphage and Bethany at the hill called the Mount of Olives, he sent two of his disciples, saying to them, 'Go to the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there, with which no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, why are you untying it, say the Lord needs it.' Those who were sent ahead and found it just as they had been told. As they were untying the colt, its owner asked them, 'Why are you untying the colt?' And they replied, 'The Lord needs it.' And they brought it to Jesus and threw their cloaks on the colt and put Jesus on it. And he went along. People spread their cloaks on the road. When he came near the place where the road goes down the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in loud voices for all the miracles they had seen. 'Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven and glory in the highest.' Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, 'Teacher, rebuke your disciples.' And I tell you," he replied, "if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out." As he approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes. The days will come upon you when your enemies will build an embankment against you and encircle you and hem you in on every side, and they will dash you on the ground, you and the children within your walls, and they will not leave one stone on another, because you did not recognize the time of God's coming to you." You know, there's a few things that stick out to me in this passage. I mean, if you can imagine Jesus preparing to ride in to Jerusalem, and there's such joy and expectation that accompanies this movement. You know, for many there, they were probably thinking, one, about what was yet to come, right? They've been following Jesus for a while now, and they thought this was going to be the return of the king, if you will. They were riding in order to accomplish that which no one else had been able to do before. None of the false messiahs who had been there since the time of Malachi, none of that had occurred, and so they were waiting expectantly for Jesus to do that, to overthrow Rome and to return glory to Jerusalem. And while others, as the scriptures say, were there praising and singing loudly and worshiping God. Why? Because of the miracles that they had seen and they had witnessed. And as they begin to sing, it's interesting to me that there's a third group of people that are there. They're the teachers of the law. And as they do, they rebuke Jesus' disciples, saying, "Hey, don't have them make such a big spectacle." And it reminds me, the reason why they're praising God is because they have witnessed miracles. And the thing about miracles that I think sometimes we in today's day lose sight of is that miracles speak about something that could only be accomplished by the supernatural. And for us to realize that, that means that things that could only be accomplished by God. And so they're praising God for the evidence of his hand at work. And the teachers of the law were rebuking them, saying, "Tell them to stop. They don't know what they're saying. They're calling upon the wrong name. They're speaking in greater admiration than what is necessary. They're speaking about you possibly being God. Keep them from doing that." And I'm reminded that, man, as believers, we are called to be in a posture and position of praise. Every moment for us is a blessing from the Lord. And you and I have experienced miracles, whether it be big things or small things, whether it be the check in the mail that meets all of our basic needs, or whether it be the returning of sight to the blind. Whatever it is, if you just stop and you listen for the testimony and the stories of those around you, if you stop and you reflect on your own life, I think what you would see a regular diet of is God's faithfulness to intervene and do the miraculous, big and small. And I think one of the reasons why we don't recognize miracles today as they did in the time of Jesus is not because they don't happen anymore, but because we don't talk about them anymore. We don't celebrate them anymore. You see, Jerusalem had lost a lot of hope since the time of the last time they had heard from the Lord in the time of Malachi. They had lost a lot of hope due to the oppression that they had felt for so many years, for hundreds of years, at the hands of foreign occupiers. And here, they had lost hope, the consequences of that. We did not desire to sing the praises of God, for in doing so, we might be reminded of the emptiness of our hope. Yeah, let us never become like that, church. Let us always be quick and swift to praise God for His hands. Let us always be ready and vibrant in our sharing of the miraculous that God has done. Maybe you'd be willing to do that today. In the comment section below, share with us, whether it be a big miracle or a small miracle, about something that God has done in your life recently. And let's praise God together for His faithfulness in every season. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow as we continue on our study in the book of Luke.